Hello and welcome to Storytime with Dirt. I'm Dirt Spawn. This is Storytime number 3, part 2. Got my obes in here. If you remember last time, we met Odin and Isabell, and they just started off on their journey to find the power of the ancients. Let's continue on. Later that night, Isabell asked, "What happened at the pit? I blacked out suddenly. That old man hit you with a rock and turned out to be a monster hungry for flesh," explained Odin. "That solves for my headache and dizziness. Indeed, let's get sleep and pray we don't have any more distractions." The day after, they came to Charcoal Forest. "This must be Charcoal Forest. It will take over a day to get across," said Isabell, as if she were slightly discouraged. "Then what are we waiting for? Let's get a move on," said the eager Odin. The two had never been this far from home and were ignorant about what Charcoal Forest had for them. "I'm beginning to think this trail is one big circle," stated Odin. He got off his horse and looked around, and then got an idea. "Wait here." He took off down the trail. In an hour, the out-of-breath warrior came back to Isabell, who was sitting on the edge of the trail. "Have fun?" asked Isabell. "By the king's crown, it's a circle." "I guess that means we should stop wasting time and move our arms to touch us," said the bored sorceress. They got back on their horses, and instead of following the trail, they took a right turn off the trail. For most of the day, they rode through this forest. Soon they came across a statue. It was of a man in a robe. One half of its face was normal, and the other half that of a demon. The statue divided the path in two. "Well, Izzy, you're the smart one. Which path do we take?" "Ah, yes, I've studied this. The statue is Charcoal, the man who became a demon. The story says he was unsuccessful as a man, so he went to a dragon and turned him into a demon. As a demon, he won many battles, bedded many women, and had great wealth." "A dragon? Sounds like an old story." "Indeed it is, Odin. We go left, as the demon half suggests." The two rode on to the left. Finally, they crossed into Tachus, but it was already dark. Isabell said, "We need to find a town or somewhere civilized." "Why not camp here?" suggested Odin. "No, we must find a shelter," she said sternly. "It's not often you speak to me in that tone. Something on your mind it is?" She looked at him with a frightened expression. "Troll spiders. They like the dark and come out of their caves at night. They're so creepy. Please, Odin, let's find a village." "Okay, alright. Let's ride on then." They rode on for another half hour until they came to a village. It was a village of dwarves, but a village no less. "Welcome, travelers," said a dwarf from afar. "Hitch your horses here for the night." The two dismounted and led their horses into the stables. Most were small ponies, the perfect size for a dwarf. "How much?" asked Odin. "How much what?" "Oh, right, 10 silver each." "10 silver? That's a big price, you shark." "9 silver." "5 silver." "6 silver, no less." "Fine, take my money." Odin handed him the coins, as did Isabell. "Sod it, I feel like stuffing that dwarf in a hole," said the angered Odin. "I'm glad you didn't. You're beginning to show real restraint in your anger. What you call a temper, I call fun. What you call fun lands you in trouble." Yes, blah blah," he said as they walked into the inn. Isabell slapped his shoulder. Inside the inn there were many dwarves singing and drinking. "You go on up to the room. I'm going to drink a bit," said Odin. "Very well then," said Isabell as she paid for the room and headed downstairs to where the rooms were. Meanwhile, Odin had a merry time drinking and singing, making new friends, and getting terribly drunk. "Come on, bozo, hit me. I bet I won't even feel it," said the drunk Odin. The dwarf stood up on the table and socked Odin right in the cheek. Odin was knocked down nearly unconscious. All the dwarves laughed as they helped him up. "Are you kidding? Is that all you got?" Odin said. He laughed as he wandered over to the barmaid. He leaned down and said, "I'd like another round, shortcake." "I won't be giving you any more as you already had 8, said the barmaid. "Well, fine then, I'll just get more tomorrow," said Then Odin went downstairs and fell all the way down. "I'm fine," he said as he struggled to get up. He found the room Isabell was in, lit the lantern, and stretched. There was but one problem. There was only one bed. Odin didn't take notice, as drunk as he was, that Isabell was already in bed. He took off his boots, belt, and shirt and collapsed, which woke Isabell. "By the Creator, Odin, what are you doing?" "Oh? Oh, hey, babe. How'd you know my name? You want to fool around?" chuckled Odin. "No, Odin, it's me, Isabell. Isabell, I didn't recognize you. Can I have the bed now, please?" "No, I got here first." "You're being a big baby. Now come on," said Odin, trying to push her out of bed. But try as he might, she was still in the bed. "I suppose there is room for one more. Now, no funny business or I'm kicking you out," said Isabell in all seriousness. The two spent the night back to back in a dwarven bed, with one straightened their feet dangled off the bottom end. The next day Isabell was already eating breakfast when Odin woke up. He went up to the tavern to join her. He obtained some porridge and sat down beside her with his hand pressed to the side of his head. "Headache?" she asked. "That's what happens when you drink a lot. How many?" I don't remember," said the sickly Odin. "The booze here is stronger than the lions back home." "Well, think before you drink next time. Now finish your porridge." Isabell had already finished hers and was studying the map Master Vareth gave her. "Odin, look. We can arrive at the site by nightfall." "What is the power exactly?" asked Odin. "I was told that it's raw energy encased in an orb." "By nightfall, eh? We should get going then." "I want you to finish your porridge first," egged Isabell. "Yes, uncle." Isabell lightly pushed his shoulder. Once they finished, they went to the stables and put their belongings on the horses and saddled up and mounted. "Thanks for taking care of our horses, dwarf," said Odin as he handed the dwarf 2 silver. The two rode off to where the power was supposed to be. Once there, they saw a great ruin. Many corpses decorated the rocky hills. "They fought hard to protect it," said Isabell. "The torches are lit up there. Someone still resides," observed Odin. Odin and Isabell walked over bodies of dwarf and hobgoblin alike. They walked up the stairs of the ruin to its sanctuary. 3 dwarves still alive, 2 still standing, 1 wounded. The 2 dwarves drew their weapons. "Oh, we thought you were hobgoblins," said one of them. "We're here to help," said Isabell. "Is the power still here?" "No. They took it," said the wounded dwarf. Where did they take it?" asked Odin, as Isabell used a standard healing spell on the wounded dwarf. "I'm a tracker and hunter. Perhaps I can join you," said the dwarf with the crossbow. "We would love the help," said Isabell warmly. "Glad to have you with us. What is your name?" said Odin. "I am Bildazarian, but call me Bildy." "You are welcome to take point, Bildy," said Odin. "We head east into the Mirelands. Tracking them should be easy once we're there." So Bildy got on Odin's horse and the 3 traveled east without rest. Odin and Isabell became very tired, but not Bildy. Bildy was used to staying up days on end. They eventually stopped to rest, but the enemy does not rest, so their rest was short, and they continued on for 2 more days across the rocky hills. Almost to the Mirelands, they rested once more. They had an unwelcome guest as well. A troll spider had caught their scent. "Everybody up, we have a visitor," said Bildy, putting down his tea, which was in a metal cup. "By the Almighty, don't let it get to me," said Isabell, hiding behind Odin. Now would be a good time to face your spider fear, Izzy, stated Odin. The spider hissed at them and bore 2 large fangs coated with a paralyzing venom. Oh, please, I'd rather not, she said. Pick up your staff, woman, commanded Odin. At that very moment, the spider as large as 2 horses charged in, and Odin swung his sword at the legs as Bildy shot at its eyes. Isabell ran over to her staff and picked it up, pointing it at the spider. The joints, lad, the joints, shouted Bildy at Odin. Odin swung at one of the legs in the joint area. The leg snapped right off. Struggling to work her staff, Isabell hit the troll spider in the mouth, and it nearly ate the staff. Odin was ferociously swinging his sword, and the spider focused on him. Then Isabell focused her energy, and a bit of light shot forth, and hit the creature in the abdomen. Odin removed another leg, and the spider tried to retreat. Isabell shot another bolt of light, and once again hit the abdomen. The spider crawled away limping. I did it! I used my staff. I think that if I fight a few more of those things, my fear of spiders will be gone, said Isabell as Odin sheathed his sword. You got a hold of that staff quickly for not using one before, said Odin. Now that we're finished with that monster, are you two ready to go? Asked Bildy. Ready as ever, now that I'm wide awake, said Odin. They got on the horses and soon enough arrived at the Mirelands. Before we go into the Mirelands, there are some things you should know. Stay out of the mire. Stay quiet. The undead roam these lands. And third, the paths are hard to find, but you'll get used to finding them, so lead the horses, don't ride them, explained Bildy. Mire, undead, paths. Got it, said Isabell. They all got off the horses. After a while of working their way through the Mirelands, Odin asked, So I don't see any undead. Where are they? Some are beneath the mire, others lie on the ground, so watch your step, warned Bildy. As soon as he was finished talking, one of them crawled out from the mire and grabbed Odin's boot by the ankle. He quickly drew his sword and drove it through the undead's skull. Bildy looked back to see what happened. Odin looked up and sheathed his blade. I guess I spoke too soon, Odin said. Just be careful. Now come. Their tracks lead this way, said Bildy. It took them a full day and a half to cross the Mirelands. They arrived at the shoreline. Blast it! They must have escaped. We need a sorcerer to find where they went, said Bildy in frustration. I am a sorcerer, said Isabell. Can you use a crystal ball? No, I'm strictly light magic, not dark magic. We must go to the city. You guys, I think we have a problem, said Odin. They all looked behind them and saw the undead rise from the mire and the ground. We must get to the city. Hurry, commanded Bildy. They're swarming us, exclaimed Isabell fearfully. Fight for your lives, yelled Bildy as he took his two-handed axe. They moved down the shoreline and fought their way through the horde. Odin swung his sword and struck down the undead and removing their heads. Isabell fired bolts of light from her staff, burning the walking corpses. Bildy hacked them to pieces. I'm out of mana. I need to rest, said Isabell. Use your staff as a weapon, Izzy, advised Odin. She swung the bottom of her staff and stuck an undead on the side of the head. But she was soon overwhelmed. Odin, help me, she cried. Odin rushed over to her and pulled the undead off her, took her hand, and ran. Bildy was hacking up walking corpses into pieces. Isabell got on her horse and Odin got onto his, picking Bildy up and putting Bildy in front. They rode through the horde, slashing and gunning down the undead before them. Eventually they made it out of the undead horde and out of the Mirelands, then came to the dwarven city. We can get a steamboat here after we find out where those hobgoblins went, suggested Bildy. They soon found themselves in front of a magic shop. Inside there were enchanted items like rings, amulets, and other jewelry, decorative things like gargoyles, and small metal dragon statues. A man stood behind the counter reading a book. Isabell looked his way and had a fearful expression. "What's wrong?" asked Odin. "That man is evil, Odin. I can feel it," she whispered. The man looked at Billy and said, "Is there something I can help you with?" "Why, yes. Do you use crystal balls?" replied Billy. "Indeed I do. Follow me to the back room," he said in a dark tone. Billy motioned the two to follow him. "I will stay behind," Isabell made clear. "As you wish," said the creepy man as Odin and Billy entered the room. The room was decorated with deep purple drapes, and statues of demons peered from between them. At the far end was the crystal ball on a stand that looked like a claw. The man walked up to it, and on the opposite side of Billy and Odin. "Tell me what you seek," said the man. "Our enemy has made off with an important artifact. It is vital we retrieve it before they can use it," exclaimed Billy. The man closed his eyes and placed his hand upon the ball. The crystal ball glowed. "I see the enemy which you seek. The hobgoblins have the artifact among them. I see a more powerful foe," said the sorcerer. "But where are they?" said the impatient Billy. The sorcerer told them, "Morshul, that is where you must go. But be warned, there are creatures more powerful there than mere hobgoblins." And that is where I'll stop for today. Thank you for joining me on another story time with Dirt. Hope you enjoyed the story. Join me next time as we continue our story. And yeah, thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and like. Bye.